You're going to join me on a very, very interesting series we're going to go on this time around. We've just concluded this Impact series, but this time we're going to start running a very, very interesting series. I bet you this series is actually going to be one of the most interesting series you've ever watched or viewed or listened to. We're going to be talking about the Passion and Purpose series, or Purpose and Passion. They're co-joined, so they are intertwined. You can always look at them whichever way. But we're going to be looking at the Purpose and Passion series. In this series, we're going to be looking at why people were created, why some great minds, some significant people, some prominent people that are still living with us. They are still with us here. What drives them? What is their purpose on earth? You see, in this life, a lot of us are born, and we are born into this life without even knowing our purpose. We're busy chasing things that have nothing to do with us. In some cases, living other people's dreams while our own dreams are yet lived. Some persons, it's astonishing that this doesn't have to do with age. There are people who are even in their middle age that don't know their purpose. We have people who are born and are just roaming around this earth, trying out wildcatting, doing different things without even knowing their purpose. They don't even know their purpose. We have middle-aged people that don't know their purpose. We have people close to their graves that have lived their whole life without even knowing why they were created. How bad that is. How could you not understand that you were put on this planet for a reason? How could you not understand that God does not make mistakes? Like I said in the past Impact series, if God had wanted, He would have created you an insect or an animal. But He created you human, and He placed you here to fulfill something. And that thing you're meant to fulfill on this planet is supposed to be your purpose. And you see, if you don't know your purpose, you're moving around like a headless chicken, just jumping around, not even knowing why you're here. Sometimes I ask some people, what drives you? What drives you? The only thing I know that can keep driving people is your purpose, is their purpose. Their purpose ignites their passion. And your purpose is what you live for, what you're born for, what you eat for, what you sleep, everything about you is your purpose. Your purpose, why you're here. Your purpose makes you understand why God placed you here. And that drives you to fulfill great things, to reach where you should reach, to achieve what you should achieve, to touch the lives you should touch. Look, we're going to talk on this thing for a very long time because there's so much to know about purpose. How can you be born and you don't know why you're here? There are people who are achieving things, but they don't know their purpose. And that's why a lot of people live this life with this emptiness inside of them because they don't know why they're here. They're not fulfilling something. And that's why when there's this emptiness inside a lot of people, there's hollow feeling. They do everything, but that hollow feeling gives them sadness because they just know there's something they're not doing. They have all the wealth, they have all the riches, but they're not living their purpose, which has created that hollowness and that emptiness inside of them. Well, in this series, like I said, we're going to be looking at people who actually understood their purpose and have been living their purpose, achieving their purpose in this life. Like I said, join me in this very, very interesting series as we're going to be looking at various characters from all parts of the world. Okay, today we're going to look at a very, very interesting character. Whoa, you know what makes this character interesting? This character is the youngest person ever to receive the Nobel Peace Prize. She's the youngest Nobel laureate on earth. Okay, and I'm talking of no other person but Pakistani-born Malala Yousafzai. Now, Malala Yousafzai was born on the 12th of July 1997 in a place in Pakistan called Mingora. And she also grew up she grew up in a part of Pakistan called the Swat Valley. She was educated by a renowned educator who happened to be her father, known as Ziauddin, Yousafzai. Ziauddin Yousafzai was a renowned educator. He was interested in educating his children and educating a lot of children. Now, Malala, at a very early age, grew up in the midst of the Taliban. You know what that means, the Taliban. God have mercy. She grew up there, and the Talibans, we all knew, never wanted to hear anything about the girl-child education. But Malala, who knew her destiny and her purpose from a very tender age, had a passion to see the girl-child educated. And so Yousafzai Ziauddin started educating his daughter very early. Wow. Do you believe that at that early stage, Malala had already started speaking out against speaking about her life experiences under Taliban rule and the disadvantages of her life, the disadvantages she was facing, and what the girl child faces under the Taliban rule. This led her to start writing a blog for BBC Urdu. That's the language, the native language spoken there. She started writing a blog for BBC Urdu, and she went with the pseudonym Gul Makai. Now, in this her blog, she was, relaying her experiences as the girl child under the Pakistani rule and so on and so forth. This made her an easy target for the Taliban. Wow, I pity for this child. But you see, not minding this, she was driven by her passion. She knew she was in danger. She knew she was speaking out in a very, very, very dangerous terrain, a very, very dangerous environment. But her passion kept driving her. She wanted to see the girl child educated, and she paid the price. On one cool afternoon, on the 9th of October, I think on the 9th of October of 2012, she was in a school bus coming back from school, and she was shot at by the Taliban. Imagine a kid at that stage. What people will do to stop people's dreams and passion. She was tragically injured. The shooting was terrible, which actually left her face partially disfigured, and part of the fragments of the bullet hit her spinal cord. Well, thank God, a person with passion will face all kinds of challenges, but God always shows up along the line. God always shows up for such people, especially when it's not your time to die. Passion brings about persecution. Passion brings about hatred. Passion brings about opposition. Purpose brings about all of this. But she was not deterred by that. She was airlifted to a hospital in Birmingham in the UK, where multiple surgeries were conducted on her and rehab was also conducted. Malala did not die. Her dream could not die. She recovered and co-founded the Malala Fund, an organization, dedicated to providing education for the girl child. This girl's dreams kept moving, and her passion, her purpose kept pushing her. Her purpose was to see the girl child educated. This thing kept driving her. Imagine her purpose driving her that death could not even stop her. I remember watching an interview by Malala once, and she was asked by Christiana Amampo of CNN she was asked a question. She said, "They tried to take away your life." She said, "They tried to take my life, but they could not take my dreams." They tried to take my life, but they could not take my dreams. You see what purpose and passion can do to someone. You try to hit them, they keep pushing. You try to cut down their lives, but you can't take away their dreams. And some people that they have been cut down because of their lives, because of their purpose, their dreams are still living on. Even if after they have left these shores, people will be raised to continue keeping their dreams alive. You see, when you live your purpose and you push your purpose, pursue your purpose cannot die. Malala went on in the year 2014 to be the youngest child, the youngest recipient of the Nobel Peace Prize at the age of 17. Whoa, the Nobel Peace Prize at the age of 17. She also received the Sakharov Prize for freedom of thought, and was also appointed a UN Messenger of Peace. Wow, look at that. She received the Nobel Peace Prize. She also received the Sakharov Prize, the Sakharov Prize for freedom of thought, and also a United Nations Messenger of Peace. She graduated from Oxford in the year 2020, where she studied philosophy, politics, and economics. Malala is still waxing strong till tomorrow. This is a child who started her dream, her purpose of seeing the girl child educated. Many of us are not even in the kind of hostile territory and environment that Malala found herself. She bred her dreams through such an environment. Some of you are even in more conducive environments. What's wrong with you? Why are you not pursuing your passion and your dream? What's your purpose? Why haven't you discovered your purpose until now? What are you doing with your life? You see, one thing about life is when you don't know your purpose, people will make you fulfill theirs. People will use you to fulfill theirs. But once you've known your purpose drives you. Your purpose is what keeps you awake when others are sleeping. Your purpose is what makes you lose appetite when others are feasting and doing everything. Your purpose drives you when others are getting weak. Well, let me stop here. We have a long series on this. This is King's Lodge, Nomoloma, your man and friend, trying to make sense and give someone out there a reason to stay alive and a purpose for living. Hey, please don't forget to follow my YouTube channel, Kingsley Oji TV. The best thing you can do for me now is to go there and subscribe. Oji as in OJI, Kingsley Oji TV. Please share this video. Someone needs to watch this. Thank you very much.